Hey America, let's talk healthcare, specifically the time before Obamacare. Remember those days? It was like the Wild West, but instead of tumbleweeds, it was medical bills blowing through your bank account. Before 2010, getting sick could mean financial ruin. Millions were uninsured. Insurance companies could deny coverage for pre-existing conditions. It was a system that worked for some but left many out in the cold. Imagine this. You break your arm, but your insurance company says it's a pre-existing condition because you sprained your wrist in the 5th grade. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, that was the reality for many Americans. The system was broken, something had to change. And that change was coming, in the form of a little something called the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, aimed to address these issues. It sought to make healthcare more accessible and affordable for everyone. It introduced measures to prevent insurance companies from denying coverage based on pre-existing conditions. It also expanded Medicaid and provided subsidies to help people afford insurance. The journey to pass the Affordable Care Act was not easy. It faced significant opposition and sparked heated debates across the nation. But in the end, it marked a significant step towards a more inclusive healthcare system. A system where getting sick didn't have to mean going broke. So as we look back, let's remember the challenges we've faced and the progress we've made. Here's to a healthier future for all Americans. Enter stage left, the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare. This wasn't just a law, it was a promise. A promise to make healthcare a right, not a privilege. The journey to pass the ACA was long and bumpy. Like a road trip with your crazy uncle who insists on stopping at every roadside attraction. There were heated debates, political battles, and more compromises than a middle school dance. Finally, in 2010, President Obama signed the ACA into law. Was it perfect? Nope. Was it a step in the right direction? Absolutely. The ACA aimed to expand coverage, control costs, and improve the quality of healthcare. It was a big deal, folks.
So, what's in this Obamacare toolbox anyway? Let's crack it open and take a look. First up, we've got the expansion of Medicaid, the government program for low-income Americans. This meant millions more people qualified for free or low-cost health insurance. Next, the ACA created marketplaces where people could shop for private insurance plans. Think of it like Amazon for healthcare, but hopefully with fewer customer service calls. And here's the kicker. Insurance companies could no longer discriminate based on pre-existing conditions. That's right, your 5th grade wrist sprain wouldn't come back to haunt you. These were just some of the key features of the ACA. It was a game changer, no doubt about it.
Remember those millions of uninsured Americans we talked about? Well, the ACA made a big dent in that number. Thanks to Medicaid expansion and subsidized marketplace plans, millions gained access to affordable health care. People who were previously denied coverage due to pre-existing conditions finally had options. Young adults could stay on their parents' plans until age 26. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was a huge step towards universal coverage. More Americans had access to preventative care, screenings, and treatment. The ACA made healthcare a reality for millions who had been shut out of the system for too long.
Section 5. The Price of Reform. Navigating the costs and controversies of Obamacare. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the cost. Implementing the ACA wasn't cheap. Some argued that the costs were justified by the benefits of expanded coverage and improved health outcomes. Others weren't so sure. The ACA faced criticism for premium increases and rising deductibles. Some folks saw their costs go up, which, let's be honest, is never fun. There were also concerns about government overreach and bureaucracy. The rollout of the ACA wasn't without its glitches, and the website, well, let's just say it had its fair share of technical difficulties. Despite these challenges, the ACA remained a lifeline for millions.
Section 6. Mandate Mayhem. The individual mandate and its discontents. The individual mandate was a cornerstone of the Affordable Care Act, often referred to as the ACA or Obamacare. One of the most controversial aspects of the ACA was the individual mandate. This provision required most Americans to have health insurance or face a financial penalty. This required most Americans to have health insurance or pay a penalty. The rationale behind this was to ensure that everyone, including the young and healthy, would contribute to the insurance pool. The idea was that by requiring everyone to participate, It would spread the risk and keep costs down. This would help to stabilize the insurance market and make healthcare more affordable for everyone. Think of it like car insurance. Everyone chips in, even if you're a fantastic driver who never gets into accidents. The same principle applies to health insurance. Everyone pays in, so the costs are shared. However, many saw the mandate as government overreach. They felt that the government was forcing them to buy something they might not want or need. They argued that it was an infringement on individual liberty. The debate over the mandate became a flashpoint in discussions about personal freedom versus collective responsibility. The mandate was eventually repealed in 2017, which raised concerns about potential instability in the insurance market. Without the mandate, there were fears that fewer healthy people would buy insurance, leading to higher premiums for everyone else. Love it or hate it, the individual mandate was a key part of the ACA and its legacy. Its repeal has left a lasting impact on the healthcare landscape, sparking ongoing debates about the best way to achieve universal coverage and affordable care for all Americans.
Section 7, Beyond Obamacare, Exploring Alternative Healthcare Models. Okay, so we've covered the ACA, but what about other options? Are there alternatives to the current healthcare system? You bet your bottom dollar there are. One alternative is the public option, a government-run insurance plan that would compete with private insurers. Think of it like having a public school option alongside private schools. Another alternative is a single-payer system where the government acts as the single payer for healthcare services. This is often referred to as Medicare for all. These are just two of the many alternative healthcare models being debated. Each has its own pros and cons, and the best approach is still up for debate.
Section 8, Public Option versus Single Payer, A Tale of Two Systems. Let's dive a little deeper into the public option and single payer systems, shall we? These two approaches represent fundamentally different philosophies on how to provide healthcare to the population. The public option is often seen as a more moderate approach, a middle ground between the current system and a complete overhaul. It would provide a government-run insurance option while still allowing private insurers to compete. This means that individuals could choose between a public plan and various private plans, depending on their needs and preferences. Proponents argue that it would increase competition, lower costs, and provide a safety net for those who can't afford private insurance. They believe that having a public option would drive private insurers to offer better services at lower prices. On the other hand, single-payer healthcare would eliminate private insurance altogether, creating a more uniform system. The government would become the sole payer for healthcare services, meaning that all medical bills would be covered by a single public entity. Supporters believe this would simplify the system, reduce administrative costs, and ensure universal coverage. They argue that a single-payer system would eliminate the complexities and inefficiencies associated with multiple insurance providers. Both systems have their supporters and detractors. The public option is praised for its flexibility, while the single-payer system is lauded for its potential to provide comprehensive coverage for all. The debate over which approach is best is likely to continue for years to come. Each system has its own set of challenges and benefits, and finding the right balance will be crucial for the future of healthcare.
Section 9, Obamacare Today, a legacy of change and ongoing challenges. So, where do things stand with Obamacare today? Well, it's still the law of the land, but it's faced its fair share of challenges. The Trump administration made several attempts to repeal and replace the ACA, but they ultimately failed. Despite these challenges, the ACA has provided health insurance to millions of Americans who previously lacked it. It's also led to improvements in healthcare quality and affordability. However, there's still work to be done. Premiums and deductibles remain a concern for many, and the future of the ACA is uncertain. Section 10, the future of healthcare. What lies ahead for the ACA and beyond? The future of healthcare in America is uncertain. The ACA remains the law of the land, but its future is far from guaranteed. The debate over the best way to provide affordable, quality healthcare to all Americans rages on. Will we see further reforms to the ACA? Will we move towards a public option or single-payer system? These are questions that will continue to be debated for years to come. One thing is for sure, the fight for affordable, accessible healthcare is far from over.